along with the Jewish community, who provides incredible leadership to those of us in Montgomery County. Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Thank you. Thank you. We stand strong, we stand united, and we stand together. Can we get that? That's all I'm saying, so we can find out this noise. We stand strong. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. And we stand together. We stand together. Let me say something to you. We understand this very clearly. Clearly, self-defense by some is misinterpreted. Self-defense is not simply using the Iron Dome to stop missiles that have already been fired. Self-defense meaning stopping the missiles from being fired in the first place. I've heard it all today. The group behind us is saying hatred of Israel. The group behind me is saying Israel's racist. That's a bunch of baloney. Israel simply needs to defend itself. Keep in mind, there's only one Israel. There's only one state surrounded by people who wish to destroy it. So, self-defense, stand together, stand strong, and stand united. God bless you all. And now it's my pleasure to bring up the Reverend Dr. Jason Poling, Senior Pastor of New Hope Church. Reverend.
Good afternoon, grace and peace to you. It's good to be here with friends. And I want to say that although I'm a minister now, I thought I was going to be in this town doing something else. I was a political science major back in college. And one of the things I learned was that the first duty of any state is to defend its citizens. The first and most fundamental duty of any state is to defend its citizens. And until that is established, you can't really talk about anything else. But there is a difference that I think some people are missing between death due to tragedy and death due to evil. It is a tragic thing when people are killed by accident, when civilians are killed through collateral damage. But it is an evil thing when civilians are deliberately targeted by military weapons. And it is also an evil thing when civilians are told to stay where they are so that they can become human shields, or worse, human sacrifices. Now, all people of goodwill should stand in sympathy with the victims of tragedy, and I know that we all do. But all people of goodwill also need to stand in solidarity with those against whom evil is being perpetrated. And that is why I have the privilege of being here today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today, to stand with you alongside our friends in Israel and alongside the Jewish people who are and have been the victims of such heinous evil. To miss the difference between the two is simply obscene. And I stand with all of you against that kind of moral obscenity. Thank you.
We've just done a crowd count. We're well over 1,000 people gathered, everyone. Now it's my pleasure to bring up a very special person. Penina Aganyahu, who's the Community Shalicha for the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington. Penina.
Toda rabah for being here. Since I moved to Israel from Ethiopia in 1984, I have witnessed 3 wars, 2 intifadas, and 4 military operations. It was not the reality I envisioned when I dreamed about Israel. was only 10 years old when the first Gulf War broke out. I remember we were required to learn how to use gas masks, how to quickly get to the nearest shelter, and how we were sitting in front of the TV and listening to the radio, following the news update. As a kid, I saw the fear in my parents' eyes, but I also saw hope for a better future. Then, at the second Intifada, I was a student in Jerusalem, and the fear was mainly getting on buses, walking into crowded places, and sitting in a coffee shop. You could never know where the next suicide bomber will blow himself up and others around him. Within a few years, things finally calmed down a bit, but not for my friends and family who lived in the southern of Israel. They have been living under rocket fire for over a decade. That's a long period in which no one gets a good night's sleep, goes to work on a regular basis, or even concentrate on the future plans. And a few years later, the Second Lebanon War broke out. I was still living in Jerusalem, but my parents and brother were living in Haifa. Most of the day, they spent their time going in and out of the shelters. My younger brother was before his army service, and my mother was worried about what will happen when he will soon become a soldier. She asked him not to go into combat unit so that he will not need to experience war. Over the years, we had brief period of quiet, or again, just some of us, because the rocket continued to fall on family and friends in the south. And even though Israel left Gaza completely in 2005, the violence got worse and we were faced with two military operations. And now, even though we hope for peace and quiet, the situation has gotten even worse. Not only for the people in the south, but for the people in the entire country. When they land in Israel, and listen now, my friends in the back, the rockets do not discriminate between Jews and non-Jews. They are targeting my friends in Ashkelon and Rehovot, my family in Rishon LeZion and Haifa, my colleagues from Federation that are currently visiting in Israel. The residents of Israel, including my family, seek something as basic as peace and quiet. They simply want the rocket to stop so they can go back to living normal life. They suffered enough this week, and in the last 10, 20, and 30 years, nobody's enjoyed the sound of shooting, either in Israel or nor in Gaza. Nobody wants to sit and wait for the next time. That's why we must stand together with the Israeli people to ensure that this reality of living under terror attack will change. Israel and the people that believe in peace is to be involved, share our opinion, and take action. It is our role to do anything and everything we can in order to support the people of Israel in their tireless quest for peace. Thank you.
Okay, friends, we're waiting for a few of our friends from Congress to join us. But before we do that, I want to bring on a friend of mine, Dr. Ariel Cohen from the Heritage Foundation, who's got 2 children right now voluntarily serving in the IDF in the defense of the State of Israel. Ariel.
Shalom! Today, my both children are in the Israeli army. They didn't have to be there, but they're good. They got good Jewish education here at the Berman Academy. Anybody from the Berman Academy? I am a product of another struggle. I'm a product of a Soviet-German struggle. We were refuseniks in Russia. And hundreds of thousands of American Jews and non-Jews broke the doors of the Soviet Union. Today, we have to stand with the State of Israel, with the Jewish people, with the non-Jewish citizens of Israel in their struggle. Hamas today attempted to kill innocent civilians. They inserted 13 people, and thank God these people were rebuffed and killed. But they were planning kidnappings, like they kidnapped the 3 yeshiva boys that were murdered brutally in cold blood. You don't read in the Western media about this attempted murder by Hamas today. You don't read much about using Arab children as human shields. We need to disseminate this information. We need to stand with Israel just as we stood for the Soviet Jews and with the Soviet Jews with the good results. Thank you all very much, and thank you from my children for being here today.